What's the difference between this book and this book? In today's video, I cover Ramit Sethi's new I Will Teach You to Be Rich second edition book, and I will tell you my thoughts about it. Watch this video right now. What's going on? It's your favorite pharmacist on the YouTubes. It's Kevin E the Pharm D, aka Kevin the Refugee. And if you're not familiar with my channel, basically I have this series called Hustler's Library. If you don't know, I have a whole bookcase of different books. I'm a real book nerd, honestly, like at the end of the day. And I just want to share really cool books with you as well that have really changed my life, and I want to let you know how I've used them. There's 5 things I usually cover in this series. It's usually when this book came into my life, why I'm talking about it, what it's about, how I'm using it, and who would I recommend it to. So if you want to support my channel, make sure you use the affiliate links for Ramit's new book. It's actually a really great read. Whoops, spoiler. But yeah, man. And I wanted to kind of delve into the differences between that. And before I kind of get into it, if you like the idea of Hustler's Library, make sure to hit that subscribe button with the bell, just so that you stay updated to any books that I kind of, talk about as well. And anyways, let's just jump straight into it. And chances are, if you like this book, I have a special gift for you at the end of the video. So make sure to watch this whole video in its entirety. So it's pretty interesting. This is actually one of my favorite personal finance books. I've read a lot of the gurus out there. I've read Dave Ramsey and a lot of these other people, even Intelligent Investor by Benjamin Graham, which I think is one of the most boring books, by the way. I think every single kid who is growing up, maybe in college or something like that, should read this book. Now, when this original book came into my life, right, not the first edition, not the second edition, you can see how beat up it is. I even got stains on the back. But when this book came into my life, I was actually a Ramit follower since 2006 or 2008, actually. It was really interesting because at the time I was in college and I was failing my classes, and I was just like, man, I'm so irresponsible with my life. I really need to adult. And so I asked one of my really great friends, let me move this chair. I asked one of my friends, his name's Jason Shen, and I was like, hey, do you know any good blogs or anything like that on productivity or like money, or studying, right? And he recommended me 2 blogs, Cal Newport's Study Hacks, and he also recommended me to read Ramit Sethi's I Will Teach You to Be Rich blog. Ever since then, I've just been a huge follower of Ramit. I bought literally almost all his courses, almost like, I want to say 90 to 95% of his courses I bought. There was a few I just didn't buy that just didn't make sense for me, but I've been following him since 2006 when he initially had a book, right? I think this was his first major project. He didn't really have any courses at the time or anything like that. But yeah, when he came out with this book, I was in a very unique time period of my life. I was actually in Hong Kong, studying abroad. I was partying like crazy. I was going to I had a girlfriend in Hong Kong and stuff, and we were going to clubs every single weekend. I don't drink, luckily, because I would have been in more financial debt. And I was going through eating all you can eat sushi all the time. I was just really irresponsible in college. I think everybody kind of goes through that, because here's the truth. No one really tells you how to sit there and how to plan out your personal finances. No one, at least in my family, really taught me. The only thing that they taught you was hey, just save money. But it's it's weird. Money is like a taboo subject for a lot of people. People don't really talk about it, right? So for me, it was really the savior in my life, and really kind of broke down what is a Roth IRA, what is a 401k, and all that sort of stuff. So when I was in Hong Kong, right, my mom called me all the way from America, and she was like, Kevin, you hit an overdraft fee. And it was so freaking embarrassing, because I was maybe 20 years old at the time, 19, 20. And my mom literally had to bail me out of an overdraft fee because I was having too much fun in Hong Kong. And I was like, damn, I just gotta do something different. So I bought this book, and I followed it religiously. And prior to this, I actually knew how to invest with in index funds and all that sort of stuff, but no one really brought brought everything down to me and was like, hey Kevin, this is how you set up your 401k, this is how you set up your taxable account, this is how you set up your Roth IRA, right? So and there was no systemized system. Like I knew how to do single things, but it's all these, it's kind of like rather than having a complete system, I only had the pieces of the puzzle, right? So this book actually really helped me. And I remember when I got back to America, or actually while I was still in Hong Kong, I was actually setting up all my accounts and all that sort of stuff. And it's a great program. And I'll tell you this, most of the people that will pick up this book never finish it. I'll be honest. This is my most gifted book to people, and people, it's still sitting on their table like years and years later, never do anything about it. Okay, so that's kind of like the story of how I've done it. And actually, because of his same principles that I learned in this book, I still use the exact investing system today, in 2019. Can you believe it? And I actually created an investing course based off a lot of Ramit's principles. If you want to learn how to set up your Roth IRA, make sure to check out kickassinvesting.com. But watch this rest of the video and I'll plug it again at the end of the video too. So when the 10-year anniversary of Ramit's book came out, I was like, I gotta always support my boy Ramit. And I was actually really impressed. As you can tell, I'm not sure if you can tell, but definitely from like a physical point of view, this one is a lot thicker. There's a lot more in it, and I thought it was really great. So I was just like going through it. I was like, what could there possibly be in this book that there wasn't in this book? Yes, I know this book was really, really old. It's 2019. A lot of the credit cards and all that sort of stuff were kind of outdated. But it's kind of cool to see that he updated this book and there's all these new tools, right? And he updated us on like new tools, like, because back in the day, I think mint.com, I'm not even sure if he mentioned mint.com back in the day, but mint.com was what I used. And I had to figure out a lot of this stuff out by myself, right? Because, even though it's a really, there's no mint.com in here, but even though it's a really, really comprehensive book, you still had to figure out how to track stuff. So I would use mint.com, but it was kind of interesting to kind of see how he updated his tools over the years. So he uses YNAB. I've never looked at it. I've heard of it from my good friend Brian Fung, who's telling me all about it. But here's the truth, a lot has changed over the last 10 years, right? And so like he talks a lot about, the FIRE movement that didn't exist back in 2009. That was more, I think it actually came up through the Reddit and all that sort of stuff. He talks about different type of FIRE movements and whatnot. He talks about robo advisors. He's talked about cryptocurrencies and stuff, kind of like these things that have kind of been updated through the years and all that sort of stuff too. Because you gotta realize 2009 like was totally different than it is now. Data plan was probably not as big back then as it is now. Like these days we can do everything with our phone, so that was really cool. But the thing I really like about this book per se is that Ramit, if you follow Ramit, he's always really about more of the grander scale, right? He's not just about the money, the tactics. It's cool, he teaches you that, right? But at the end of the day, he talks about relationships, and I thought this was really interesting. I thought he has some chapters about, hey, how do you talk to your sig fig, and how do you have that first meeting of talking about finances with the people around you, right? Or how do you handle a relationship where someone makes more, right? And how do you come up with this conversation of what's fair, right? I thought that was ingenious. I love it. And I think he's also gotten a lot older. You got to realize that he runs a really successful company. He's married now, and I love this beginning part because he says he dedicates his book to my wife, Cassandra. You're the best part of every day. I loved it, man. It was really cool. Really, really, really cool. All right. But, it's things like that. And he also talks about how do you support your parents? Because for me, I'm Asian, right? So I always like to kind of, I always think about my parents, even though my dad's not here. Think about how I want to take care of my mom and stuff like that, right? So I thought that was really, really cool. Anyways, what is it about? If you're not familiar with Ramit, He basically has a 6-week program in this book, and if you follow it, it's pretty good. And I think like one cool thing is that his charts got better over the years, man. His charts got a lot better, and you can tell like he's been really big into online course world, and he knows how to teach so much better than he was when 2009. So I thought it was really, really cool. But it's about minimal personal finance. He really focuses on the 80-20 rule. So like focusing on that that 20% that will give you 80% of your results. He's not it's almost like a minimalistic personal finance. He really emphasizes traditional and challenges, or not the traditional, he really emphasizes the fundamentals, and he really challenges the common assumptions that people have, like, hey, is buying a house a good investment? A lot of people say, yeah. He stops you. Ramit was the first person who kind of told me in my life, hey, Kevin, think about whether a house is a good investment on paper, right? And I think this book does a great job of talking about it. And if you want to save for a car, honestly, this is a great book for adulting. I highly recommend it. I highly recommend every single person read it. Really great book. And I wouldn't be surprised if it blew up even more. So in roughly 6 weeks, he teaches you how to do credit cards, how to optimize your banks. He teaches you personal investing, how to consciously spend on your money so you can buy the things you love and cut out the things that you hate. I still use that to that day. Teaches you how to save automatically, which I still use to this day. And he teaches you how to kind of manage your whole financial system. So it's really great. I'll tell you this, how am I using it? I still use it to this day. But after kind of reading, like, I'll be honest, I haven't read the whole book, but you know, I've read a lot of Ramit's content and stuff, and I skimmed through the book and I was reading through all the stuff that was really new. But you know, I think after this, I'm actually really going to take a look at my portfolio and kind of like simplify it even more, because here's the truth. I probably am really bad. Ramit would probably be like, oh, Kevin, you invest. Well, first of all, I invested fun money, but yes, I was that guy that invested in crypto, and luckily I broke even, by the way. So I know a lot of people are kind of bitter about that, but you know, I was that guy who did crypto. I was that guy who, you know, stock picks, you know, and I don't think there's anything wrong with it as long as you just have a strong foundation. So, but I think I might actually kind of simplify my portfolio again and just kind of like update it using a lot of the tools and stuff. So if you're a really big fan of Ramit, you love this book, pick this book up, man. It's really good. Using my affiliate link, by the way, so you can support this channel right here and support Ramit, my boy Ramit. Ramit, if you're watching this, I love you, man. You are I consider you my first online mentor. Who would I recommend it to? I'd recommend it to any 9-to-5er, right? Because this book really focuses on the masses. If you are a business owner or you're self-employed and stuff, wouldn't really I would still pick this book up, but just realize that it has the intention of helping most 9-to-5ers. They're not going to talk about, he doesn't really talk about SEP IRAs or solo 401ks or anything like that. But you know, that's a very niche audience. It's definitely not everyone in the market. So I can see why he kind of left that out, because it'll probably look something like this, right? You'll find a good balance of kind of like the tactical and kind of like the relationship aspects of personal finance, right? But if you're a business owner, do not expect too much tactical for business owners. You're not, like I said, you're not going to find anything about SEP IRAs or solo 401ks as well. I thought it was just really cool how he covered the relationship aspects in all points in life, man. And you can tell that Ramit has done a lot of adulting since this picture and this picture. I'm not sure if you can see, but it's pretty interesting. Like I said, if you guys want to pick up a copy of Ramit's book, make sure to go through my Amazon affiliate link to support this channel. I also have a free kick-ass investing masterclass for you guys. My whole purpose is like, hey, yes, I do sell a course behind it, but I literally give 25% of my course out, and just to help you set up your Roth IRA. So if you're having trouble with that, sign up, just see what it's all about. Just take the masterclass at the very bare minimum. Once I help you set up that first account, you're going to want to do more and more and more, right? So yeah, guys, Also, if you like Hustler's Library, make sure to watch more. I'll put a playlist somewhere around here. And if you have any suggestions of what you want me to cover in my Hustler's Library series, let me know. I'm very, very curious. I have a form down below, and you can just let me know what books you want me to review. All right, guys. Anyways, love you guys. Take care and get your finances right. Get your money right, son. I'll talk to you guys later. Take care. Peace.